AM First, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right. Welcome into the Fitness Fanatics. It is Sunday, July 16th. Well, it's actually July 15th. So we're pre-recording this episode because if you've listened to our show over the last 3 months, you'll know that July 16th, we are currently out on the course doing the Nebraska football road race as we open. So it starts at 8:30 on Sunday the 16th. So we will be out there doing that. So we have a great show, though, for you today. So hang in there and check us out. Well, we don't know if you should hang in there or not. Just listen, stay with us. We got a good show.
We have faith in us.
Yes. So coming up on our show today, we're really excited for our guest. We have a ticket listener that has had a pretty amazing transformation that he's gone through. He was kind of inspired by what Mark has done since he started with Farrell's, and then also listening to our show on Sundays. So he's going to be joining us here in studio in about 30 minutes. His name is Ben Garver. So we're really excited to talk about him, talk about his journey. Nicole and I, we run a gym, and so we deal with transformations all the time in the Farrell's setting, where we have accountability, babysitting going on, where we're keeping track of you. So it's really cool to talk to people that are doing this on their own, because it takes a certain type of or certain kind of discipline to do it at home, which is our week 2 theme at Farrell's for our 10-week challenge we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor, Integrative Life Choices. Fitness Fanatics is sponsored by Integrative Life Choices. ILC is hiring direct support professionals all over the state of Nebraska, full-time, part-time, days, evenings, and weekends. People can apply at ilc.net/careers. Direct support professionals work to ensure a meaningful life for the people they support. They work to support in achieving their hopes and dreams. So big shout out to ILC. We appreciate all their support. So back to the discipline, and we'll talk to Ben about this when he's in here, but that's our theme for week 2 at Farrell's. So Nicole, what does discipline mean?
Well, I mean, I didn't look it up.
Not the discipline when I was a kid and got smacked on my butt by my dad. Not that discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. We know what that discipline is. Getting disciplined by our parents. But the discipline, you read it to me on the way in here.
Well,
remember?
that's not the definition. That's just the.
Well, so what does discipline mean correlating to exercise, nutrition, doing Farrell's and the 10-week challenge?
The context was that, like, if you have self-discipline, then you'll do what you need to do in the moment, instead of whatever. But for me, discipline is it's a decision. That's why whenever we talk about motivation, I don't really like that word, because that motivation is an emotion. Discipline is a decision. So if you're like, I'm not motivated to do this, if you change that word from motivated to I'm not disciplined enough to do this, that's a little harsher.
That's looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're talking to yourself and you're like, I just can't get motivated to, do whatever, insert goal. But then if you're saying, I'm just not disciplined enough to do it, it kind of puts the responsibility back on you instead of.
Which we don't like that.
No.
We don't like to take self-responsibility. And you talk about motivation.
Some people more than others.
Some people, yeah.
Right.
Some people more like
husbands.
Like today, I was doing the live virtual workout at the gym at 5 a.m. and I did not have the cord plugged in all the way. So the sound was really bad. Couldn't hear me. It was muffled.
And now, if only someone had told you what to do multiple times to prevent this from happening. But you told me, you promised in your text message, this will be the last time, you said.
So I knew
it will never happen again.
I knew I was in trouble when I went to stop the recording and the phone was not charging.
Duh. Yeah. You
And
needed to
so
plug it in.
then I went to post the video, and Nicole had already hijacked the post about how
Jeff screwed
for
it up.
some reason Jeff did not check when he started the class. So it's
Right.
kind of funny because I was telling the members, I was like, I screwed up. So we had, I think you put on like the last session's week 1
Yes.
class,
Yeah.
which you instructed. So it's probably better than my class anyway.
Whatever. Don't try to
So then a
butter
little
me up.
later, so I sent Nicole a text about, I tested it. It sounded good. We have a personal docs Facebook page. So I tested the sound. It worked great. And then I got the scathing.
It was going to be more. It was going to be all caps. I literally started all caps and then deleted it because I was like, well, we haven't talked about this, but today's your birthday. So I didn't want to hurt your feelings on your birthday. So I toned it down and I only capped like 5 words.
But I got the text, which I'm sure most husbands have gotten. And the text pretty much
5
said,
words.
how many times have I told you?
Great start.
Not sure. No, it was the last thing I said.
Oh, okay.
Parentheses to soften the blow.
Okay.
Not sure how many more times I have to explain this to you.
That's not good. That's not a good text. Fortunately, though, it is my birthday today
You
on
lucked
July
out.
15th. So
Yeah.
I had a little bit of lenience.
I was.
come my way,
I
so
literally
appreciate that.
went from a whole paragraph of caps to only 5 words in caps.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that.
What are you, like 32?
You know, I am 45.
Mhm.
But what's interesting,
We got off track. Are we done
It's
talking about discipline?
No,
Because
we're
we were
gonna go
talking
back.
about personal responsibility. You had to take responsibility for.
okay,
Your
we'll
mess
go
up.
back to discipline.
Okay.
So we were talking about how, we're not motivated to do the dishes or to do laundry.
I mean,
Or
we're not really motivated to do anything. That
we're not
you
motivated
need
to
do.
clean the bathroom, or you're not motivated to
Yeah.
do it. You do it because you have to do it.
Right.
Like you have to do your laundry, unless you just, you have an infinite amount of income and you could just have new clothes shipped to you every week. And then you just throw the old clothes out, or the person that brings you the new clothes takes your old clothes and donates them somewhere. I mean, you could do that theoretically.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, it would
Yeah.
be cool. Yes. If I could do
Somebody
that,
should start that.
like I get
Yeah.
a nice
Is that a thing?
clean
Maybe.
Justin Fields jersey for every game, like a brand new one.
I
they
feel like certain things you would just have to keep.
That's
No,
pretty
yeah.
wasteful. But you don't call into work. You don't just not show up to work because you're not motivated to go to work.
Right.
That's always the good.
Probably
example.
90% of the people when they go to work are not motivated to go to work. They go to work because they have to.
Right.
I mean, that's even the case with us. It's as a rewarding of career that we have, and seeing people change their lives and be healthy and get taken off blood pressure medication and high cholesterol medication and adding years to their life by becoming a better version of themselves. Like, there's quite a few times when that alarm goes off at 3:10 a.m. I don't want to get up.
Yeah. Not me. I'm a morning person.
But
I'm up.
and there's times where it's like,
That's middle of the night. That's
I
not
know.
even
I know
morning.
it
It
is.
is. It's the middle of the
It
night.
is. But we do it, sometimes because we have to. But that's how
Yeah.
most of us are. We're not motivated to go to work. We're disciplined to go to work because we're disciplined to pay our mortgage and our car payments
And
and
just have
feed our
money.
children.
Right.
And that's right. Yeah.
Is that
Right.
discipline or is that just necessary?
Well, it's
Both.
necessary,
Both.
but
But
that's
know.
why
I
we
get it.
do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure now, DP probably doesn't want to hear this, but I'm sure there's times where you're like, oh, I just don't have it. I don't
But
have it
you know
today.
what?
But you come because
Mhm.
you're disciplined. You need to go to work.
But that's a really good point too, because, and this is true for everything, especially if you're a kind of an introverted person or a homebody like we kind of are. But even for us, if we don't want to get up in the morning or whatever, or Rico doesn't want to come in to work, whatever, one day, then you get here and it's fine.
It gives you the energy.
Right. It
Yeah.
does.
It'll
Yeah.
take you a second, but you're just
Yes.
like, you know what? No, today's good.
Right. Especially if you like your job, which I'm assuming you like your job. Rico.
Absolutely.
I mean, how could you
Yes, I
not?
love
Oh,
it.
he's
Right.
just courted off to Vegas.
Yeah.
He just,
How could you not?
I mean, he's posting pictures of basketball.
Everybody
games.
keeps saying everybody keeps saying that like I wasn't working. I was working the whole time. It
That was part of your job.
was all work.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure.
What are you
But
talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I chose not to, work out as
Right.
work.
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
that's the point, is like exercise is the same way. Like, yeah, you're going to dread it. Possibly you're not going to want to do it. But once you're there, or once you're done, you're going to be glad you did it. Like, that is how it all comes full circle. That's the same thing with your job. It's the same thing with anything. Like, sometimes, we have something to do, and the thought of doing it, just a social event to go to, and you're like, oh man, but I'm so tired. Then you
Mhm.
get there and it's fun. And then you're like, well, why don't we do that more? But because we're tired.
Yep.
Get
So
up 3. But
hopefully, if our
replace motivated with
Mhm.
discipline in your mind. And that's going to help give you a little more accountability to yourself.
Well, and when it comes to fitness and working out and eating healthy, discipline doesn't happen overnight.
No.
There's not a pill you can take, or
You can't
you,
buy discipline.
you can't change your mindset. Like, there's not a pill you can take that'll, oh, I'm a changed person. That's
or
why
a piece of equipment.
we're not big believers in New Year's resolutions, because let's face it, at midnight on January 1st, your mind just doesn't magically transform.
Mhm.
You're still the same person that you were at 11:59, right?
Are you're trying to tell me that New Year, New Me isn't real?
It is very real. It's
Wow.
overrated, I think, is
It's
what we're
over.
saying.
Now,
Yeah.
as a gym owner, we're very
Overrated.
thankful for New Year's resolutions.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
But at Farrell's, we have 4 New Year's resolutions a year, every 10-week challenge.
Mhm.
So we're talking about how discipline doesn't happen overnight. Let's take Mark, for example. And I talked to him about this already, but Mark just lost his wife a couple weeks ago, and he's back at the gym, right? And I think back to like the reasons that I don't, like last Saturday, I didn't work out.
You sure didn't.
And what? I just
You were
didn't.
there.
I
You
was
were there.
I
You
could have worked
watched
out.
4
just didn't,
classes go on,
right?
and you
I
did
just
nothing.
didn't do it.
3 classes.
And that's how a lot of us are. We're just like, well, and our members, if you're listening and you haven't been to the gym, I mean, we have so many different reasons, excuses. I got a puppy.
That's
can't
a
tell
big one.
you-
People use the puppies
I got a
throw
puppy.
people's lives in
Right? So-
chaos.
That's a weird one.
But
Well,
it's true. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
It's
true.
like having a baby,
Yeah.
kind of.
Twice.
I know. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it is. But the point is that you're trying to make is that, that discipline that Mark has, it didn't happen since he lost Jordan. The
Mhm.
discipline happened before that. It was the
Yes.
year leading up. For now,
Mhm.
he's been disciplined for so long that this is just part of his routine, and it's kind of part of his process of getting back into a new routine and building that
Right.
in. And that is important because he had to work for that discipline, where now it feels like something's kind of missing, and it doesn't happen overnight. And that's why it's kind of important to, you never know what's going to happen. So, fit this in, get it done, make it a priority, then it's going to be a part of your routine. It'll be easier to kind of get back into that. So I hope that Mark comes to the gym and it's a little bit of normalcy right now in his life and times, because we are, of course, thinking of him constantly.
Mhm.
And so,
and I
we
just
wanna
worked
think
out
that-
next to him Friday, so I know he was just so inspired by me.
okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
He was there Wednesday too. So
Yes.
it wasn't just you.
Like, here you go.
So yeah,
Right.
I mean, so like I said, I mean,
You never know when you're going to get the payoff for that discipline and being the commitment that you're making, which I think is maybe next week's theme. Spoiler.
Right. And we live in a instant results, quick.
Nebraska Lottery presents.
We live in an instant results,
It happens.
quick fix world right now, where
Yeah.
we want things to happen so quick.
Yeah.
Enrico, you can relate to this because I know you're just a big time track star
Mm-hmm.
in college and high school,
I
but
wouldn't say star, but yeah.
I've seen
Well, high school, yes.
dabbled.
College, no.
I've seen a quote from Usain Bolt that we usually share with our 10 weekers
Mhm.
by like week 2, week 3, when they think that, why haven't I lost 30
Things
pounds
haven't
by now?
happened fast enough.
Why don't I have a 6-pack?
Mhm.
It's been 3 weeks. Usain Bolt, and I don't know if this is word for word,
Probably not.
but he basically says, I trained for 4 years for 10 seconds.
Yep.
4
Right.
years of training for 10 seconds.
Not
at the
even.
Olympics.
And people give up,
And
right.
people want results after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
4 years he trains, and he's getting nothing out of it for 4
I
years.
can't imagine that.
there's
That seems
no-
like a lot of pressure.
And that's the same for all Olympians,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You do all this training, and you're in competitions and stuff, but
Yeah,
when
you've
your
got
goal,
meets here and there,
you
but
get
the main goal, like you're obviously being a world champion is great, and winning a Diamond League is great, but every track star's main goal is to be an Olympic champion.
Mhm.
or swimmer or gymnastics, or I mean
Mhm.
anything that's not a professional sport.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if the basketball player, I don't know if
I don't think so.
Kobe Bryant was like, oh, my goal is to win the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah,
I
Like,
don't
right?
I guess that'd be a question: is what's better, like an Olympic gold medal or an NBA championship?
Like we could ask
Mhm.
Eric Strickland that, like when he was playing.
Which one Which one were they talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
what's
because it was
more
only 4
important?
years,
Right,
An NBA
right.
championship is every year, but like every 4 years, limited spots on the team, they
Right,
can only take
right.
12 people. Is that more prestigious? If you're an Olympic champion, is that better than being an NBA
Yeah, that's a
champion?
great
We'll
question.
have to
Next
find
time
out.
you're on the air with him, you should
I
ask.
will
him.
ask him. That's
Yeah,
a great
because
question.
I'd like to know too. So you have to let me know what
I
the
feel like
poll
there's
results
less people that can say that they are Olympic champions than they can say won the NBA.
are. Yeah, but when you're
title.
judging, like when you think greatest NBA player of all time, like, oh, this guy has 3 Olympic gold medals,
Mhm.
No, I have
Right?
no idea who would
Like-
have Olympic gold medals.
right? You're like,
Carmelo Anthony has 3 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
He's number 2 all time in Team USA Olympic
Right.
scoring.
You don't
But
remember the.
But everybody's just like, I didn't win an NBA championship.
I know.
That's the only
See?
thing.
It's true.
Right.
That's the only
Right.
thing.
We don't know. There's nuance to it apparently, but
yes,
yeah.
yes.
But the point is,
the point is,
you stay disciplined for the
Yes.
payoff later. It's not necessarily gosh, wouldn't that be so nice if you could exercise and literally see physical results immediately?
just you look in the mirror and you're like,
be
wow,
kinda
I'm a new
weird.
person.
Yeah,
that
that'd be
would
kind of weird.
it would be
Yeah.
weird. You're
Like
right.
you're just like you just curl a bite something a couple times, all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, my shirt doesn't fit.
You're Des Moines Adams all of a sudden.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
guy.
And
Yeah.
I tell, like, when I'm talking to some of our new members, I'll tell them, like the 10-week challenge is kind of like when they start, it's like us raising a baby. And you're like, so for the first couple weeks of the 10-week challenge is like the first month of having raising a baby, where what are you doing with the baby? Changing the diaper.
We
feeding
do
the
not
baby.
change diapers at Farrell's.
No, I'm
to
talking
be
about
very clear.
comparing something.
I know.
Putting
It's
the-
all work.
Putting the wraps on, that's changing
Yeah.
the diaper.
But
You got to make sure you wash them.
You're
Yeah.
taking care of this baby, and the baby's not giving you anything back yet, right? So it's kind of like the first 3, 4, 5 weeks at the gym, where
Yeah,
you're
those-
like, you're not seeing results. Well, then all of a sudden, after a certain amount of weeks, it's been a long time since we've had to deal with this, but Rico,
Yeah.
you can maybe let me know when that baby first smiles, it gives you the grin.
Mm-hmm.
The real one.
It's all worth it,
You
right?
say something and all of a sudden the
Yes.
baby like kind
Yeah.
of recognizes your
Yes.
voice, and
Yeah.
you're like, whoa.
So all those nights of being up all night with crying and
Mhm.
diapers and blowouts on your car, and we've been there, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Those are fun.
yes. All that stuff that you deal with is worth it.
Yeah.
When your little girl, little boy smiles at you.
or takes their first steps, or all
Yes,
those little
yes.
milestones.
Rolls over.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
So
been a long
once
time.
you start seeing results at the gym or anything that you're doing, then it's worth it. But
Yeah.
you got to be disciplined to get there.
Mhm.
And a lot of us will quit before we get there.
Yeah.
Because we want instant results.
Because you're like, it's been 5 weeks. Where
Yeah.
are my abs? And it's
Yeah.
like, well,
Well, it
They're
took
there.
40 years to get this looking how it
Yeah.
looks right now. So
they
it's gonna
gotta they gotta poke through a couple things.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So, all right. Well,
Okay.
we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we should be joined in studio with our guest, Ben Garver. So don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Tickets, Fitness Fanatics.
Register to win one of 4 $500 gift certificates from Graham Tire Company of Lincoln during their anniversary sale going on now. Instant rebates on Goodyear, Kumho, Hankook, and Nokian tires. Additional mail-in rebates on select Goodyear tires. Double your mail-in rebate when you use your Goodyear card. That's up to $260 savings on 4 select tires. Hurry in for the savings and your chance to win a $500 gift certificate given away to 4 lucky local winners. Graham Tire and Auto Service, getting you to the places that matter most.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
As long as it's taken for him to build up that program to be pretty successful by their standards and look, pretty successful by Big Ten West standards, you have to take that into accountability. You can't be an impulsive, in-the-moment type of decision maker, because how you handle Pat Fitzgerald could stymie you from hiring, because those coaches talk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in here. Before we get to our guests, I wanted to point out the jersey that I'm wearing. It is only my second ever Chicago Bears jersey. I've been a Bears fan since I was 7. I've had a Brian Urlacher jersey. This is a Justin Fields jersey, which my son my 16-year-old son bought this for my birthday
With his own hard-earned
with his own hard-earned money. So that's why I'm wearing it today. I just got it today and opened it up and thought I would wear it into the show. So big shout out to him.
Happy
We'll see if
birthday.
it brings us any good luck. No, I know
We'll
he has
see.
all these different Ravens combinations.
He does.
a hat, pajama pants. He's like, I'm 2-0 with this combo, and they haven't won with this combo. So I'll have to test out this theory this upcoming football season.
Yep.
But, so that's the deal with the number 1
Yep.
Justin Fields jersey.
Or
So,
it's a lowercase L, which also applies.
yeah, I don't know. Or an I. The number 1's not really.
It's not one.
It's not really cool looking. It just looks like
it looks weird.
looks like the Bears don't know what they're doing with this one.
Also,
like I think the one should have a
yes.
little like a little thing.
Yeah,
at the
like the
bottom.
normal one.
Yeah, like a block letter one.
Well, the Bears don't know what they're doing regardless.
Right.
I know.
That's the point. It tracks.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
All right, moving on.
We are joined in studio by one of the loyal ticket listeners, Ben Garver. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing great.
All right. Well, we are recording this show. Just a note. This is actually the 15th of July. The reason we're recording the show today is because we have about a group of 50 of us that are going to be out at the Nebraska road race, which will be happening during the airing of this show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably be done by now. It's about 9:30. So hopefully we'll be finished because it'll be an hour. But so Ben is in town. He's kind of killing 2 birds with one stone. He has a pretty cool transformation story, which we'll get to here at the top of the hour. But first, we'd like to get to know Ben a little bit. So Ben, we'll start with your youth days, if you can remember that, like where you grew up. Did you grow up in Nebraska?
Yes, I grew up in Grand Island.
Okay.
As far as sports and stuff, I started very, very young. My family was a family of swimmers.
Okay.
We lived 3 blocks from the YMCA in Grand Island. My sisters would walk me up the street, took me to water babies, and it all started from there. I swam in my first swim meet at the age of 3 years old.
Oh my gosh, that had to have been adorable.
I was in the 8 and under age group. My parents had a 8mm film of it.
Oh my gosh.
And we'd watch that. And here I was, my goggles were up on top of my head. It jumped off the starting block. It looked more like dog paddle than it did swimming, but hey, I got to the end, finished it, and swam for a lot of years.
That's
so I grew up in the family of swimmers. It was a year-round deal for us. And at that time, I don't remember a lot of other sports that were year-round type sports.
Yeah.
But as a swimming family, we swam all summer. We had a short break in the fall, allowed me to be a good big Husker fan, and then it was right back at it for winter.
Okay. So did you, like, when you got into high school, like, any like cool stories, like state tournament and anything like that in like high school swimming or anything like that?
I did swim at state all 4 years. I qualified for state my freshman year in the very first event I swam in.
Okay.
Along the way, just being an athlete, got into other sports as well. The summer of 8th grade, I decided to do a triathlon.
Okay.
So I'd been mowing lawns as a side gig and making money. And one of my swim coaches was John Wayne, and he owned Wayne Cyclery.
Not the actor, not the actor, John.
No.
We just will clarify that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of average Jeffs listening in the audience, and we're like, oh, John Wayne was your swim coach? Okay, so not the John Wayne. This is a different John. Okay.
So he was the owner of Wayne Cyclery in Grand Island. Gave him a down payment to buy this $high racing bike, and made payments to him on a weekly basis until he would let me take that bike home. Spent the rest of the summer riding that bike, of course, swimming every day, and decided to sign up for a triathlon.
Okay. Now, where was that triathlon at?
It was in Grand Island. It was held at Ellie Ray Lake. It was put on, I believe, by the YMCA. And at that triathlon, the cross-country coach was there.
Oh.
And so the race goes on. It was a pretty interesting race. I was one of the first ones out of the water, stayed ahead until the run, when the guy that won the race passed me on the run.
Mm-hmm.
We were nearing a water table, and I can remember hearing him after he passed me tell the people at the water table, hey, that kid only did 1 round on the bike. And they're like, no, he didn't. He did both. He did both. And so anyway, I finished second place in that.
Wow.
And it was pretty awesome.
I've always
Pretty
felt
awesome.
like this, if you're a good swimmer, that
Yeah,
gives
'cause
you
we've done
we've done
triathlons.
triathlons too,
Yeah.
and you don't want to see me out there swimming. Like,
Fun fact, your triathlon was just like 3 days ago, and on my Facebook memories, your very first one
yeah, and
that you got halfway through and thought it would be easier to just drown than it would be to finish that
you know, it was an out and back swim.
400 meter
And-
third
and-
yard or whatever.
And you probably know
it was
this
a
as
sprint.
a huge swimmer. Like I did a lot of training in a pool, right?
Yeah.
So you're pushing off. You're just, man, I'm just flying these laps in here. And then when I get into the lake, there's nothing to push off of. So it's all me. So most of us, me swimming in a lake is like, I mean, I'm sure you were graceful. You're just head moving like this, breathe. I mean, looking good out there. Me, I'm like side stroke, back stroke, side stroke, front stroke. Like I'm in bed, turning in bed in a circle. And I remember when I got out to the out part and then looked back, I thought maybe I should just drown because I swam like 200 meters or whatever it was. I'm not getting back. There's nothing for me to push off to go back. This is just, so I'm just dog paddling. And I remember that, but then I remember as I was out on the run, this old guy passes me. And you know, in the tries, they have like
Your age is on your calf. Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably, how long ago was this?
I don't remember. I don't know.
So
I don't want to go back
13 years
yeah,
ago.
Yeah.
So I was in my early 30s. And I'm pretty sure it said like 77 on his calf.
It probably did. Triathletes
And he's just trucking right. And he started way after I did. So it wasn't like we started at the same time. He started in waves after me. He's just, and I'm like, and then I come when I remember riding on my bike, and Nicole said I thought it looked like the Dorothy on the Wizard of Oz.
No, the Wicked Witch.
Just straight up, like
we did.
I just had a normal bike.
Jeff didn't mow lawns to get a $high bike.
No. I had like
but that's honestly what I love about
a Huffy
triathlon.
or whatever it was.
It's probably
Schwinn,
a Walmart.
maybe.
No, it was a
Walmart.
Giant. It was
Walmart.
a Giant. I mean, it was a
Okay.
real brand of bikes, but
It wasn't a tri bike.
that's what I love about triathlons, though, because you see like have you done tries since then?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
You just did the one.
You just
I
did the
one. So here's what happened afterwards.
Okay,
the cross country coach is there. He ran on a team.
Okay.
So he just did the running portion. And he come up to my mom and my dad and I after the race. And he was congratulating me. And he says, so what are you going to do this fall? And this is leading into my freshman year. And I said, well, I'm going to play football. He said, I don't think so. And as he's kind of looking at my mom, he says, I think you're going to run cross country. And my mom just kind of smacks me on the back.
Absolutely.
And says,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
That sounds
He'll be
much
there. When's practice start?
less stressful. Yeah.
So you dropped your Speedos and your wetsuit and you went strictly to running, right?
No, I kept swimming.
Well, for the triathlon.
Yeah,
No
for the
more
triathlon.
triathlons.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That was it.
Okay. Any like, what's the farthest you've done? Did you done any like marathons, half marathons growing up, or?
I did not. I just ran cross country in high school. 6 miles was my limit. When
Sure.
I ran 6 miles, I was done. So it was about the most we ever had to run for cross country, for training for 5Ks.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, where I'm at now, I started training for the Lincoln Half Marathon this last spring here.
Yeah, we'll get to that here coming up. Yes.
So
that's going to be cool.
Up to that, yeah, I hadn't done anything further than about 6 miles.
Okay. And what do you do now? Like for a living? It's pretty cool.
For a living, let's see. In 2007, I kind of got sick of my job.
Okay.
Come home from work one day. I told my wife, I said, I'm going fishing. And she's like, what? I said, we're gonna be a fishing guide. Okay. So we decided if I could do it in 4 years and be making decent money, it'd be worth a go. And here I am today, still at it.
Nice.
I guide currently now in central Nebraska at Sherman Reservoir near Loop City. And I love it. It's a great job. It's you don't feel like you're going to work ever.
That's awesome. And you've had, I know Coach Bush went out on a fishing guide.
He did. He
trip
brought
with
his
you.
dad Ron and came with me. We had a fantastic day. Had
Was
a
that
lot of
just
fun.
not that long ago, or was it a while ago?
It wasn't that. It was just maybe a month ago. Right?
Okay,
Yeah, a
it
little
was
over a month
during the
ago.
10-week
Yep.
sit. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Very cool.
We had a blast. His dad is just a hoot, I tell you.
And so is I'm sure he had some stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. He told some stories on air. They may have been, embellished a little bit, but that's what fishermen do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And so when we were kind of setting this up, I thought, you lived far away because you said, well, I'll be in town for the road race, so let's do this on Saturday. And then I was texting with you, and you're like, well, I live in Hickman. And I'm like, well, that's just down the street. Why do we need to set this up on the same weekend? But so during the peak fishing season, you and we were talking about this on the way in. So you live in your camper,
Correct. Yep.
out by the lake.
Yep.
Is it just you or the family is the family with you?
My wife has a business here in Lincoln. She runs Four Paws Pet Grooming over on 56 and South Street.
Oh, now
she
we are looking for a
Speaking of
groomer.
that,
hey, there
Yeah.
you
we
go.
need a groomer
We'll talk.
for our dog.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So if your wife's listening to this, or she goes back and listens to the podcast,
If
we
there
do
is
need a
a
groomer.
podcast.
Sounds good. She'll
I-
await your call.
I've called someone that we're not taking any dogs. We took the dog to the vet and got her because she's a border collie lab mix.
Okay.
Just long, like human hair. And we like to get her shaved, but she's like very skittish. And the vet where we took her, that's not their first thing they do is grooming. So like being in a kennel for hours and then getting groomed, it's
very stressful.
very stressful for
This
her.
is not the point of what we're
But
here.
anyway, you
Okay.
brought that up, and I was like, okay, so
yes, good to
we're
know.
gonna have that done. Yes.
File that for later conversation.
I will.
Okay.
File that for later. So yes. So anyway,
Yeah,
wife
on
has
track.
a business here, so you go away from the family from like May to September. You said
I do. I usually leave sometime in April. I'll
Wow.
go out and have the camper all set up out there. We have a seasonal RV site there at the lake. So, we got a big fifth wheel, and it's got a big deck built outside of it. We have a dock down below where we can go hang out and swim from, and I can bring my clients in there to clean fish. It's a nice place. It's a fun place. I enjoy being out there. My wife and my daughter come out on the weekends.
Mhm.
I do not guide on the weekends any longer. My daughter's 6 years old and will be a first grader this year at Norris.
Okay,
And,
cool.
Ever since we had her, I just kind of gave up on the guiding on weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
Family
fish
time.
tournaments. I fish competitively in tournaments. I do the Nebraska Walleye Association tournaments here in Nebraska. So go to different bodies of water to fish those about 5-6 weekends a year. And we have a blast with that. And I got a group of guys I travel with to go do that. And we have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, life at Sherman, I'm away from Hickman for the summer. It's been kind of interesting. We've lived in Hickman 22 years.
Yeah.
And people are always asking me, do you know so-and-so in Hickman? No, not really.
Because
we
you're
didn't-
not there for
yeah,
a
I'm
good
never
chunk of
there.
time.
So, and then we didn't have my daughter until we were 40. So
yeah,
I
you weren't
didn't
dialed
have
into
anybody in
that.
school.
Yeah.
Didn't have the kids.
So we're about the same. Thank you.
My birthday was on the 4th.
On July 4th.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I turned 47.
Okay. So do you know any Essinks from Grand Island? Does that name ring a bell?
It does sound familiar, but
Yeah.
nothing right off the top of my head.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
all
was
your
born
cousins
there.
are younger.
So may have seen my plaque somewhere, like
No,
radio.
you were literally
host.
just born there. That's it.
We actually we lived there until the 1980 night of the Twisters.
Really?
Yes, we lived in Grand
you
Island.
just packed up and moved away.
That's it. We're out of here.
Did the tornado evict you?
Well, no, my dad moved to Iowa
No.
for business.
Okay.
But we lived in Grand Island on the night of the Twisters.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It was
Little
one of
fun-
my
fun
earliest
fact.
childhood memories is that night.
Bringing back nightmares now for you.
No, not really. I just
When you're
I
a
do
kid,
remember.
yeah, it's not really that scary
Yeah.
when you're. A
I don't
kid.
have it.
You're
I
like,
was like 2, so I don't have any really recollection of it, just from what I was told. But
Yep.
so anyway, and then we moved. But I was born in Grand Island as well.
Cool.
So, all right. So, we up for a break?
Yeah,
Okay.
we
So,
can
we're going
take
to take a break. When we come back, I do need to tell Ben about my fishing story
Mhm.
memory because I didn't get to that.
in
but-
Grand Island.
No,
Oh, okay.
with my grandpa.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yes. So, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Fitness Fanatics 93.7 The Ticket.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We are joined in studio by Ben Garver. He is a loyal ticket listener. He's also does fishing guides for his career. And you have a website. What is the place that, like, if some of our listeners are like, you know what, I really want to do this and learn how to fish, how can they get a hold of you?
It's easy. www.nebraskawalleyeguide.com.
All right. NebraskaWalleyeGuide.com. I've only had walleye one time that I can remember. And my Uncle Larry made it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was...
Was I there? What's
I
the
don't
one?
think so.
What's the fish that we were eating the cheeks of? Because that was good.
Walleyes have cheek meat. Yes.
So maybe you were there.
Yep.
I remember
they did like a fish fry. So I've had it more than once.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done fish fries. They're my uncles they're big fishermen as well. So yeah, we have done fish fries where they
because those were good. They're like little fish nuggets. They're really
walleyes.
good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I have. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I've had it more than once.
Mm-hmm. I thought so.
We're gonna keep up the fishing talk a little bit because I got a couple funny stories to tell Ben. So, but one of my we talk about average Jeff on this show. Like when I played basketball, I played at halftime and not in a real game, just stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done a couple fishing things. I have bought the banjo minnow to try to help me catch fish. Thoughts on the banjo minnow? Is that even around now, or was that?
It was an infomercial.
It was an infomercial. Yeah, I'm sure he knows.
Yeah.
I think it's still around. I think I still see the infomercials once in a while.
So
I think Babe Winkleman is a big
I'm gonna look
proponent of that.
Does the little light make a difference? Like I know they had one that lit up. Does the fish see the light and go get it?
I don't think that's how it works.
They do still have.
I don't have a
official
single
website.
lure in my boat that has a light on it.
So I was sold. I was sold on the banjo minnow, and I remember seeing that commercial over and over and over, and I was like, "Gosh, I really want to be able to catch fish like that."
The website, it's not even fully loaded yet, and it already says everything you need to catch more fish, even when they're not hungry.
That's right.
Sign Jeff.
Sounds
oh, that's like the 6-second abs I bought, the bow flexes, the total gyms, everything I thought that would get me into shape.
Yep.
I went down that route fishing as well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting that banjo minnow, and that thing was it was glorious. Glorious. We took it out.
Nothing.
Probably solve all your problems.
Yep.
Yes. Just like the 6-second abs were going to solve my ab problem, and it just did not work.
No.
But one of my favorite memories growing up as a kid, my grandpa, my stepmom's dad, my grandpa Willardson, he was a huge fisherman, and he took my cousin and I out on a fishing trip up to Minnesota. And I don't remember where it was, or it was just a river, but it was bullhead country. And I remember, you cast out, you didn't even need anything on your hook, and then you just jump on. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Bam. And we'd get tons of them. They had fish cleaning places up there where you go dump all your bullheads and they clean them. I mean, it was really fun.
Your grandpa didn't clean his own fish?
Well, we had he could clean his own fish, but we had so many of them that they just had like a
service.
Yeah, service to clean bullheads specifically. And I just remember having bullheads for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single meal. And it was an awesome trip. And it was really, really a great memory that I have with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't made any of those memories with my son yet. 16.
I know.
He always says he wants to fish. I'm like, we'll do it next year.
We got him a fishing pole for Christmas, but he hasn't done anything with it yet. Good news is he gets his driver's license, knock on wood, next week, so then he can drive himself to go fishing. He can do it.
I really need to. I do.
My daughter, my 4-year-old told me like a couple weeks ago, she goes, "Dad, I want to go fishing." I was like, what do you even know about this? What are you talking about? She's like, "I want to go fishing." And I was like, okay. Well,
Did you take her
figured-
fishing?
No, I was like, I shouldn't have a fishing. We didn't. We were not planning on taking our 4-year-old fishing, so we're just
should've
like,
brought my
okay.
calendar.
So I was like,
Here
okay,
we
let's.
go.
I was like, let's figure this out. Let's get you a fishing pole, and then she's not scared of bugs, so she'll pick up a worm.
Yep.
Although it might break her heart to put a worm on a hook. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I want to go fishing, and we're like, okay.
Well,
I was
I'll
like,
tell
your
you,
mom likes fishing. Your dad used to like
Video
fishing. I don't know if I
games.
still do. I used to
Yeah.
fish all the time. It was great.
Yeah.
you
a lot
need
of
to
lakes
get
around, a lot of opportunities. Get her out there.
you need to get that done. Or the next thing you know, she'll be 16 and be harboring regrets,
I know.
animosity.
You
Well, I
did-
gotta get back to Farrell's
Because-
because when she does turn 16, I gotta look. I'm a short guy, so I gotta be in shape
You gotta be
Yes.
ready.
just in case.
Right.
So we have a picture on our fridge of my
'Cause
daughter.
we did fish more
Yes.
with Katie. Of course, then your second kid comes and you're like too busy with 2 kids. And
Yeah, the first kid,
Fishing with
just gets
2 kids
everything,
sounds
right? Second kid
disaster.
just
Whatever.
Yeah.
Go play.
So we have a picture of my daughter with she has a fish from the lake we used to live in front of in Altuda,
Pond,
and then
but
our
yeah.
pond, and
Yeah.
then there's a picture of me holding like a catfish or something, and then
no picture of Ben.
The fridge.
It's more of a just weird. We put it up there to tease him about it. That's why it's up there.
I know.
Failed.
Ben's thinking,
Parents'
you know what?
failure.
You're just failing in the father department here with this
Yeah.
fishing.
So what, Ben, is your fisherman, Ben? What is your biggest like piece of advice for a novice fisherman? What would you say for the average
like,
Jeff?
like me, if I want to
Yeah.
go somewhere, like what's the best thing for me to do to catch some fish?
Like if we're gonna go to Holmes Lake, or where should we
Start
go?
out simple.
Yeah, yeah.
Bobber, a hook, and a worm.
Mhm.
Really works for everything. Believe it or not, it still use a very similar setup in fishing for walleyes at times. So
Okay. Mhm.
you can keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's how it is for everything, you know.
No lights.
No lit
No
up.
lights.
No lit up.
No lights, no.
Nothing that rattles.
Maybe glow. I have some lures that glow.
What about that vibrates?
Yeah,
gives
if it
off
takes a
signals.
battery,
I've
no,
seen
I wouldn't.
The ones with the little like
fins.
fins where you go to bring it in, it's just like
Yeah, like that, or
Yeah, I'll probably steer away from those. Anything
Yeah.
with a battery on them.
I
He
got
said
hoodwinked.
a bobber and a worm. He said.
Now I do know how to put a bobber on. and put a
Okay.
worm on.
Yeah.
I do know how to fish with that.
Okay.
The problem is it always seems like I lose the worm before I get the fish on the hook. Like my bobber will be completely submerged underwater. And then and then it's just gone. So we like to feed the fish, I guess. Is kind of what I'm
Yes,
saying.
that's
So why you
more
buy
like
your
it.
crawlers a dozen at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like
So powerful.
secretly not
Oh,
wanting
okay.
to take our son out fishing because he will see what just an epic failure I am at fishing. And he'll be like, Dad, you're terrible at this.
I don't know. I don't think you're. I
No.
I want to
think
hurt.
a fishing
I
guide
don't
would
want to
solve
hurt
all
your
your problems.
feelings
I bet-
on your birthday,
yes.
but I don't think you've given him too many things that he's like. My dad is my hero. Just
No,
I
I-
mean, in the like sports.
Because I raised him as a Husker fan.
I know.
And he's
So
like,
I'm
what's
pretty sure
happening
the
there?
bar is very low.
What's
Is what I'm
happening
saying.
there? I don't even know what it's like to
Yeah.
win. Yeah. We
No.
get those things.
And
he
he's
became
16.
a Ravens fan.
Yeah,
Well, at least they win.
I know.
I mean,
And
yeah.
he's 16. He would delight in being better than you at fishing. So that would be a good, funny memory.
I know we do need to get that. Now I'm feeling bad.
You need to wait for him to get older, so you can't have a 16, 17-year-old be like, "Yeah, I'm the man of the house."
He's 16.
We'll go
Yeah.
go catch dinner
Yeah,
right now.
He'll be like, "Oh, let me go
All
put
right.
food on the table."
Yeah. All
So yeah,
right.
keep it simple. Where, like in Lincoln, where do you say, like, where will you fish if you're fishing in
Holmes
Lincoln?
Lake, right here in town.
Yeah.
You can catch quite a few different fish in there, different
Okay.
species and things. Otherwise, get out by Hickman. There's some lakes out there.
Mhm.
We got Wagon Train. I think it may be under construction right now. They may be doing some renovation out there. But Stagecoach, there's Conestoga Lake near Lincoln. Branched Oak, believe it or not, a lot of people call Branched Oak the Dead Sea. It's a lake full of nice fish if you learn how to catch them. You got to have a little more patience.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Got to have a lot of patience at Branched Oak.
Okay.
Learning on how
Well,
to
that's
do it.
good because I feel like you would be like, let's go to Branched Oak.
Yep. Let's go.
Just on instinct
We're gonna
alone.
go to the big
I-
lake.
Poor
The
bad
big lake.
instincts.
There's more
Big
fish
fish.
in there.
Big lake, big fish.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So now let's go to break,
Yep.
and then when we come back, we'll talk about. I keep hitting the thing. We'll talk about your fitness journey
Yes.
too.
Awesome. The main reason you're in
Yeah,
here.
yeah. The fitness
All right.
fanatics.
We'll be back
part.
here, top of the hour, 93.7 The Ticket, Fitness Fanatics.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
July marks 8 years of the Body Shop being open for business and serving Lincoln the best massage options in the area. Dennis and his team would like to thank all customers who have stopped in and let them relieve the pains and stress in their lives. Your continued business allows them to do what they are passionate about. Book an appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop, your go-to for all types of massages at 48th and A. Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through July 18th are $2 off each pound of petite tender cuts, and don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, big news, they have 2 new locations opening soon at 27th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha, with soft openings in mid-July. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
The wait is almost over. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show is the hottest event in the area. Coming to Lincoln's Air Park on Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Elevate your air show experience with tickets to the premium seating tent, padded seats, meals, and more for just $125. Premium tickets are going fast, so buy yours today. To purchase premium tickets and for more information, visit LincolnAirshow.com. We'll see you at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show in late August.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Typically, you kind of think of Nebraska as far as in-state recruiting as might not get the skill position players, but you can pepper in some offensive linemen and maybe a linebacker here and there. This class is led by its in-state skill position players now. I mean, you thinking down the line, you could 3 or 4 years from now have Daniel Kalen lining up with Davon Holland, Isaiah McMorris, and now Carter Nelson. Those are all your skill positions.
Keeping the highly talented, highly ranked players that are in the state with you at the home state school is a step in the right direction.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog? A cat? Or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome into Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now here are your hosts, Jeff and Nicole Essig.
All right, welcome back in here, top of the hour. Just a quick side note, this show was recorded yesterday because we're out and about having fun with the Nebraska football players today. Hopefully, we got a few pictures, a few autographs, and I got my picture with Matt Rule. So we'll see if that happens or not. We'll know by this time when you're listening to this, but I'm really working on it because we have 50 people in our group.
Rico is skeptical.
It's hard to ignore when 50 people are wearing all the same shirt getting ready to do this race. I mean, we have the biggest group out there. So, and we have some football players in our corner, like Ethan Piper in our corner.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see.
But we will also put some of those pictures on Instagram. So if you want to follow us on Fitness Fanatics Radio on Instagram, _ between each word. But if you just search for it, you'll see it.
Yes,
but I'll make sure we post on our stories lots of pictures from tomorrow.
Yes.
From
And we'll have a
the race.
complete recap. Next week, we'll be back at our live spots on Sunday at 9 o'clock.
I do think, Ben, I think you were one of the first people to sign up in our group.
Yes, Ben.
Yeah.
Could have been, yeah.
He signed up real early on.
He signed up during our show, actually.
Okay.
During one of our shows, he signed up. So he must have been motivated during the show.
Okay.
All right. So,
or it was
Ben,
a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe that. All right. So Ben is here. He's from Hickman. He has a pretty awesome journey, health and fitness journey that he's been on. So kind of take us back. I know we always have like an epiphany of like, okay, I need to do
Is it
something.
epiphany or is it like rock bottom?
Rock bottom, where
Yeah.
we're just like, this is enough is enough. And I know yours was around December. So kind of take us back. I mean, were you listening to me talk when you had this?
You
No,
sound like
I'm just
Mark.
kidding.
I know.
Mark likes to take credit for everything
Yeah.
that happens in the ticket. He calls
No.
himself like he's the closer. He's Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
So
You're channeling
take us
Mark.
back to December on like what kind of made you like, let us know where you were at, what kind of led to that, and what was the point when you're like, I need to do something.
The scale. I got up one Sunday morning and I was down in the laundry room doing some things, and I stepped on the scale.
Just like
And
out of curiosity.
randomly.
Yeah, I hadn't been on it in a while.
That's a
I
bad
knew,
idea.
I'd been avoiding pictures, things like that for a
I'm
while.
ready to get my
I just-
feelings hurt. And
So
I
anyway,
still-
get on that, and it was the highest number I'd ever seen in my life.
Mhm.
And so I immediately went upstairs. I told my wife, I said, you need to get dressed. We're going to the YMCA.
What was
And
her reaction to this?
She
It's probably
knew
like
we had-
I didn't weigh myself.
Yeah, what's going on here?
we'd been discussing it for a while.
Okay.
So my daughter, taking swim lessons and stuff, we needed to get her in somewhere else, and we thought we'd go to the Y. And so that was kind of the deciding factor. The Y was a good fit for our family.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I had to get in there that morning, and we got signed up, and we left there, and I knew the change was coming. So that was on December 4th, I believe. On December 7th, I met with a trainer there that was just doing equipment orientation with me.
Sure.
And she took me through all their equipment upstairs, and she left after the orientation was over, and I got to work, and I haven't looked back since. I've been in the gym 6 days a week since, or doing some activity 6 days a week since. I'm when I'm at the lake in the summer, I don't have a gym there that I can
sure.
utilize.
Mhm.
So running, swimming, biking, that's what I do.
Okay.
So,
That's awesome.
We are, our theme for this week at our gym is discipline. So we were talking about, what we're interested to talk to you about is like, we have a system at Farrell's where we see people every day and we're holding them accountable. If they're not working out, we're like, hey, where are you? Why aren't you coming in? But when you do it on your own, you have to have a whole nother level of discipline.
it is. It's completely different. you know, one of the things that always crossed my mind was joining Farrell's and doing your guys' 10-week program. You know, I heard the success on the radio station, and it was always there. I always wanted to do it, but it just wasn't that fit for my family.
Right, right.
But the why was, but I still had to find motivation, dedication to get up every day and go do it. Well, dedication for a fisherman isn't hard. You know, you're up every morning. There's just a drive in you to get out there and go fishing.
Right.
And so I guess that was instilled in me from a young age in sports. And so it wasn't any different jumping back on this train. I wish I'd have done it a lot sooner, but life did what it did. And here we are. So
have you had times where you were more active than other times?
Oh,
like,
definitely.
you know what I mean?
You know, I do little things along the way and, you know, watch the diet. One thing about my wife and I, we've always eaten very healthy. You know, problem was I ate too much of it.
Yeah.
So you can eat too much healthy
Oh,
food.
absolutely.
It's,
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
no different.
Yeah.
So, but we were always, you know, pretty active people, like being out at the lake and hiking and doing things like that. And so I wasn't ever scared to do things, but you know, being dedicated to a program or you know, just that drive,
routine.
you know, that daily routine. Yeah. That just was something I hadn't had in a long time. But there was some things, you know, that I did at the Y that made it easier. Some people I met there. I don't even know their last names, but there's one gentleman, Jim. He's there every single morning waiting for him to unlock the door. And he would be on that elliptical machine. And I can remember being in there them first couple days, and he's over there next to me. And I'm like, this guy's an animal. He's probably in his close to 70.
Yeah.
And he would get on that thing for 1 hour every day. And I'd be over there struggling to get my 15 minutes in. And my drive was to match what Jim was doing. And I'd kind of peek by his machine and I'd walk over to get the wipes to come wipe my machine down. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's burning over
See
1,000
stats.
calories. you know? He's been on there an hour.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So, Jim gave me a lot of drive and held me accountable. And helped me get to that point where I could spend an hour on that elliptical machine with the tension cranked up to 20 and the stride length at the max and do that for an hour. And I haven't never told Jim that he's done that for me.
Oh, you probably should.
I will.
Well, we know he's
when
listening.
the time's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's listening to the show because everybody listens to the
He's
show.
a fitness fanatic.
Yes.
But that's important because you do have to have that kind of accountability to something or someone. You know, if you weren't there, which I'm sure, I mean, you're not there now, so he knows, but like, you know, it's nice to know that you'll be missed if you're not there. If Jim wasn't there, you would wonder where Jim is. You know what I mean? So he's created that for himself, that accountability and knowing that helps a lot, because even if you're not a super extroverted person, you do have to kind of find that support in the people that are like-minded with you in the gym. So I do think that's important. We have that happen all the time where people will come up to us after class and they'll be like, what is that person's name? Because they stand by them every single day and they've gotten to know them. But then it's like you're past that weird moment of like, I don't actually know what their name is, even though I know that what they do for a living. And I know they're married and kids and I don't know their name. That happens a lot for us too. And so we tell them who they are. But, you know, that's part of it. That's part of what works with Farrell's too, because you get to know those people. And then you see them every day and you're just continuing your, you know, just little conversations day to day. And that does help a lot. I think.
We were excited to have you on because, like, you know, we have people that join
and
math.
that's, it trains
It's
you.
data.
It also trains you to, because I dropped my phone in the lake back in May and I haven't had the app going since.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just kind of know what I need and I know what's overdoing it, what's not. So
Yeah, that's what we tell our members too. Like, we don't expect you to log your food forever, because once you log your food, we all eat the same 5 or 6 meals, whatever, in rotation. So it's really, and that's what Mark had always said too, with his transformation. He would always kind of eat the same thing all day long, track his calories, and then he knew what he kind of had left for dinner, and he knew he would be pretty safe with the choices he made at dinner time, as long as you're being. So you can make it as complicated or as simple as you like, because regardless of if you were tracking that or not, the fact that you were losing weight was telling you were in a calorie deficit. Like, tracking the food wasn't the magic. It was, the fact that you were in a calorie deficit, so you were losing weight. So you definitely can do different strategies depending on the type of person you are. But that's logging food at the beginning is the best way to see. I'm sure you could tell very quickly what the red flags were in what you were eating before once you started logging food. Yeah.
2 breakfast burritos was way too much.
Yeah. I know. Way too many carbs. Don't need that, so that
or
is
you
true.
have a lake full of the best protein that you can eat in the
Mhm.
fish, but if you put it with flour and eggs and dump it in a deep fat fryer, then it doesn't become as healthy. Yes, the protein is there, but all the extra fat and carbs and everything from the breading and all that, yes, it tastes amazing, which is so good, but obviously fish and chicken, turkey are pretty much the best proteins that you can eat.
And,
So
you can still enjoy some really good food that way too.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
With the fish, everybody loves fried fish. There's no doubt about
It's
it.
good.
It's one of the best ways you can eat it. I haven't had it in 7 months, but I've eaten fish a ton, and I love to throw it on my pellet smoker. And smoke it. You can go a little slow for a while, let it infuse some smoke flavor in there, and crank up your heat, seasoning, and boom, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time we've had fried fish. It's been a long time, but
we don't even have a deep fat fryer. We have an air fryer. I've cooked like
you can air
salmon
fry
and
some stuff.
like
Yeah.
that.
I cannot master fish in an air fryer. My
It's
sister-in-law's
tough.
got it, man.
Well, the problem is, like, Jeff will cook salmon on it, but he overcooks everything that he cooks. So, like, it's way overcooked. It's basically jerky, just like how he eats his steak.
It's an average Jeff cooking fish.
It's salmon jerky by the time it comes out. What's your favorite way to prepare fish? Like, healthy way for our listeners who are
my
trying
number
to be.
one favorite right now, when I catch a walleye, and you can do this with other species as well. So when I clean the fish, I'll take it off the backbone, but I'll leave the fillet on the skin. Okay. I take the rib meat or the ribs out, and then I'll rinse it off really good right before I prepare it, pat it dry, the meat side dry, leave that skin and scales on there. I'll put it right on the grill, spray maybe a little oil on it, and just one of your favorite seasonings. One of mine happens to be Caliente from Fat Boys there out of Hickman.
Oh,
really
okay.
good stuff. And put it on my smoker. I'll let it smoke for about 20 to 30 minutes, get that smoke flavor in there, crank the heat up, and finish it off at about 300 degrees for 10 minutes, and it comes out just absolutely phenomenal. Juicy.
What's your favorite thing to pair it with? Like, what do you eat? Like, if you made a piece of walleye, would you just like vegetables? Do you have a what
vegetables,
do you eat with it?
once in a while, maybe a little bit of some rice or something. But almost always vegetables.
Keep it simple.
Now, when you're out on the lake, if you're like, I think I want to have this certain fish, could you go out and specifically? Now, I'm like if you want to have a crappie, for example, I don't even know if that's a fish you
If
eat.
they live together or
Okay,
anything, yeah.
So if you're like, all right, I want to have crappie for dinner, like, can you go out on your lake and be like, I know where those crappies are. I'm going to fish for that specific crappie.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Well, that's so cool to me. Like, it's just like, I want this. I'm going to go get it.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It is cool. We would not be able to do that at all. Yeah. So what were some of your, because, I'm sure it hasn't been smooth sailing in 7 months. What have some of your setbacks been, and how have you kind of overcame those to continue and persevere, as they say?
Injuries. Being in your 40s.
I'm right there with you. We are. I mean, he's just
not Rico.
Rico, it's
really
tough.
young.
It's
but-
tough. It gets.
He's not.
It also helps when you don't work out.
Yeah, until you get hurt going up the stairs one day, and you're gonna be like, dang it.
That's his injury prevention strategy. Is just don't work out.
Can't get hurt working out if you don't work out.
Yeah.
I suppose you're right.
Right.
I don't know. I hurt my back many times over the last 20
Me
years
too.
when I didn't work
I
out.
just lift my kids and
Valid.
throw them in the air, catch them. I squat with my kids. That's my workout now.
Okay.
Ellie's
Yeah.
Ellie's got a little bit of weight to her, so I just put her over my shoulders, squat with her. She thinks it's hilarious. So.
She's having fun. Yeah,
Exactly.
It's planking with her sitting on your back.
Yeah, they always climb on me, so doing
Yeah.
push-ups with them on my
They
back
do.
until they hit me, and then I'm like, okay, now we're done now.
So, what injuries have you kind of?
So 4 days before the Lincoln Half Marathon,
Were you fully trained up and ready to go?
I
Yeah.
was. I was in shape from doing the elliptical, all that. My cardio was right where it needed to be, and I jumped in 7 weeks before the Lincoln Half Marathon to train for it.
Hey, that's what we do.
I found an 8-week training
Yeah.
program online. I went through several of them. And I found one that looked really good, and I think it was even by Runner's World. And so I started that. It was going fantastic. Doing the long runs on Saturdays, the 6, the 8, the 10, the 12. Backing back down on the taper 4 days before, I dinged my right soleus muscle, my lower calf muscle. And
Were you running
yes,
when it happened?
I was,
Oof.
and it popped.
Yeah.
And it was a feeling I'd never had before.
That's a bad one.
As it turns out, I had a few years ago, it hurt that same muscle.
Mhm.
And so I kind of thought it was a re-injury. Turns out, I think it's just age that makes me a little more susceptible to that.
You're a little more brittle, sadly.
It was heartbreaking not to be able to run that that half marathon.
Yeah.
I went down and cheered people on, and it was like the most emotional day I'd had in a long time. It was crazy to be there and not be able to do that.
Yeah, especially when you were ready. And
I'd put so much work into it.
Yeah.
I mean, my 12-mile run was incredible. It was one of them. I got that runner's high, and I've heard you talk about it, Jeff. You don't get it.
Doesn't happen very
I had it. And that 12-mile run, the middle 6 miles where I was just flying.
Yeah.
It felt great. I mean, I could have run a marathon that day, it felt like.
Yeah.
And then, to get
So
4 days
close.
before.
Yeah.
So close.
Ugh, bummer. So, what was the
You remember
recovery
seeing
like?
us walking by on the Lincoln Half?
I may
We
have.
were out
Right?
there.
I was definitely walking.
You see Mark run by, tore it up.
Yeah.
I did not see Mark.
Mark,
but-
Yeah.
he did the Lincoln Half.
He was faster than
It was like
us.
he did extremely well.
Well,
So-
I did defer my entry to next year. So
Okay.
my goal is to do it next year. I'm also signed up for the Halvesy this fall.
So are we.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Some of us have started training already, and some of us have not.
I got 4 months before I have to start training.
Yeah, there's still time. That one's not.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah.
But it is a bummer. Injuries are huge. So how did you have to adjust your training for your injury?
So I just did a little internet research.
Yeah.
And found some different things about, taking the time off, doing some toe raises, things like that, strengthen that calf muscle, get things back in order. I think I did it a little faster than they said you could.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty good since.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Don't hurt it.
And then, so on my birthday on July 4th, there was a 5K in Shelton, Nebraska, the Shelton Stampede. I was going to go down there and run it with my buddy. My daughter was going to do their 1 mile fun run. And wouldn't you know, 3 days before that one, I dinged the left soleus muscle.
Oh my god! But you're good and you're healthy now for this Nebraska football road race. Fingers crossed.
I'm
cautious.
I'm going to go run it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to race it.
Yeah.
I hope I can hold back.
Right.
I am a competitive person.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be hard, but I don't want to get hurt again.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. We are not competitive runners.
No.
We are.
Well, we will be
completers.
for the Halvesy.
We're not competers.
Yeah.
Right.
So this 5K is more for the atmosphere, being inside Memorial Stadium, seeing all the football players. I mean, that's what it's about for us. We have a lot of our gym members are going to be walking the whole thing, so we're not going to be guns blazing.
This isn't our A race by any means.
No. I haven't
Yeah.
ran since the Lincoln Half, so
Well, Des
This will be my
Moines.
first run, or the Des Moines half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Des Moines.
I haven't ran since
Lincoln
then. So
or-
That first person that passes Ben, he's gonna sit there and he's gonna go,
Ugh,
I could pass them.
I could get him.
It is
he's like, how
complicated.
dare you?
Just make sure you're surrounded by people that look more like you. Try not to be surrounded by like the youngsters. That's what's
Correct,
gonna
yeah.
get you.
Yeah.
Have somebody that runs like the same as you and is just
Yeah.
Can tell when somebody passes like don't
Yeah.
don't.
Nope.
We should all have to have our goal time on our back.
Right? Yeah.
Slow down, slow
know.
down.
Just finish.
Yeah. So as you were recovering, did you can trip people up? Sometimes they get hurt and then they go back into all of their bad habits. Now I'm assuming once you got hurt, you stayed disciplined on your nutrition.
Yeah. Fortunately, the soleus muscle is a little different muscle to injure.
Mhm.
Running is a motion that gets it.
Mhm.
Riding a bike doesn't bother.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So it's bent legs, and that's how you could tell if you had a damaged soleus muscle or the gastrocnemius, the bigger muscle above that, is if you would squat your knees and then try to do a toe raise, it about drop you to the floor.
Okay.
So it didn't take me out of doing other things. So I was
good.
still able to ride my bike. I was still able to
Swim. Yeah.
So my dad, he has a RV at the lake too for the summer, and so this year he bought himself a kayak, and it's a pedal style, like a bicycle pedal style.
Oh, fun.
So I would use that in the mornings to go out on the lake and pedal on that thing and go out for hour and a half at 4 o'clock in the morning before anybody else is even out of bed. And then I also had my dad. He'd get in the kayak and run the kayak alongside of me while I swam.
Oh yeah.
So I do 2-mile swims out there, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like you might need to get into the triathlon game here maybe
Yeah.
next year.
There's just not a lot of great ones around here
The Cornhusker
anymore.
State Games has one.
Yeah,
I
at
believe
Holmes
it's
Lake.
No, this year it's going to be
Oh,
at
okay.
Valley.
Oh, okay.
And I really thought about doing it.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that bicycle that I had back in junior high
Uh-huh.
and through high school.
You still have it?
No, I don't. I don't still
okay.
have it, but
Yeah.
I bought one identical to it the same year,
Okay.
1989 Cannondale.
Uh-huh.
SR 600. I bought one just like it off eBay
Yeah.
back in April, and so I've been riding that quite a
You
bit.
should do it. You're already all trained up. What's a 5K run? Probably
Yes,
it's
I
a
believe
sprint
it's a
try. So
500-meter swim.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a
10K
10-mile,
or-
maybe a 10K bike or 10-mile
no,
bike.
10 miles probably
Yeah,
more, right?
and then a 5K run.
Yeah. You could
So-
do that. Easy.
Oh, I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just the Cornhusker State Games one doesn't fit our schedule.
Oh,
this
okay.
year,
Is that
so.
this
Yeah.
month or is it next month?
It's this month. Yeah.
Mhm.
I believe it's just next weekend or 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
So
Triathlons are fun. I really enjoy them. It's hard for us to get out and do the open water swimming
Yeah.
around here, but
All right.
yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to keep talking about more about Ben's weight loss journey here over the last 7 months. So don't go anywhere on the Fitness Fanatics 93.7 The Ticket.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
The Butchery by Venue is Lincoln's premier specialty grocers. Take the quality of Venue home with you with our hand-cut steaks, handcrafted burgers, and locally sourced offerings. Browse our wide selection of specialty products designed to enhance your dining experiences with cheeses, spices, sauces, and more. We also have an exclusive collection of liquors, whiskeys, and bourbons at prices you're sure to love. Stop in to the Butchery by Venue today, located in our Venue at Home storefront at 70th and Pioneers, just 2 doors down from Venue Restaurant and Lounge.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Sometimes playing with a healthy fear is good because it makes you go, hunt it out. Because the more tentative you are, I always told kids, I said, listen, if you don't like this and you don't want to play, don't play. Because you're going to be worse off and get probably hurt more by being tentative in your play as opposed to playing all out.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Fitness Fanatics, we are joined in studio by one of our ticket listeners, Ben Garver. We've been talking to him the last segment about his weight loss journey. And since December 7th, when he made a decision to change his lifestyle, start working out, start eating better, he's lost 75 pounds since December 7th, which is fantastic. Takes a lot of discipline, a lot of hard work, hard effort. And Ben, I'm sure you can agree with me. It just doesn't happen overnight.
It does not. It was a lot of work, all worth it. One of the big factors that led me to do it was my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I did not have her until we were 40.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're late parents. We've been married for 22 years this August. And I'm sorry, 21 years this August. 21 years this August. And so it's not easy to be an older parent.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to the daycare parties and stuff when she was in daycare, and you look around and a lot of the other parents could have been our
And
children.
they're like,
Right.
oh, you
You
brought
know?
your grandparents with you
Yeah.
today?
Oh, I've gotten that a few times, you know.
Yeah.
I remember going to Sam's Club one night with her in the cart thinking, oh man, I'm going to get carded for some alcohol here. And no, the gal's like, oh, is this your granddaughter? Like, oh, you don't know what you just did to my heart.
Right.
So yeah, being that older parent is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to keep up with her. This kid goes 100 miles an hour from the time she wakes up in the morning till the time she goes to bed.
Yep.
She'll wear you out. And it has certainly helped getting in shape to be able to do things with her. And tomorrow, I hope they'll let me run the 1 mile fun run with her. That'll be my little warm up before the 5K.
They should. I don't
Yeah.
see why they. No, you can't go out
I don't
there.
think they'll even know. I mean, yeah.
Right.
So it should be
No,
fine.
It's
Yeah.
not a non-timed event for
Right.
her. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna do that with her
Yep.
at the start tomorrow before I get underway with my 5K. So
And does she like the Huskers? She's the
oh
Husker
yes,
girl.
yeah. We've had her to some football games. We've had her to basketball games, and she loves her Huskers. She's going to be pretty excited tomorrow.
No, I'm telling you, you can use her to get as many pictures as you want.
With the players. Yeah.
Good tip. That's a good
right?
tip.
It
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Jeff Sims, my daughter would love to. Can we take a picture? I mean, I did it last year with my 16-year-old. We got our picture taken with. Well, I just went up to players and said, "Hey, can I get my picture taken with you?"
Right.
But we got our picture taken with Casey Thompson last year. I was like, Ben, there's Casey Thompson. You want to get your picture? Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Casey, can you take a picture with my son here? So, here I am, just So yes, she will be. You'll be
fun.
like super dad in her eyes.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
They'll have
Yeah,
little footballs. You can get autographs, and I mean, it's just a. I know if my parents would have taken me to something like this when I was 6, 7, 8, I would have been just.
Heaven.
I mean, I'm in heaven at a 45-year-old doing this road race, so that's why we talk about it.
Mhm.
We've been talking about it for months, and so yeah. So just talk about like that aspect of it. Of when you're 75 pounds lighter. I'm sure you feel better about yourself, which kind of translates into a lot of other areas and aspects of your life. So how's that help change kind of your daily lifestyle, losing that much weight?
I've had to buy a lot of new clothes, or really cinch the belt down. I look kind of funny in some of the clothes I still try to wear, but it's just overall everything is better. It's easier to wake up in the morning. It's easier to do everything. It really is. I've had a lot of back problems over the years, and I think I always blamed it on a car accident I was in 20 years ago, and I don't know if it was that necessarily, because my back doesn't hurt as much anymore. There's been a couple times I slept in on the weekends or something, and my back's still a little stiff. But that's just the age,
Right.
We're
there.
there.
Yes.
About that. You're right there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
It's just been a total change. Feeling better about everything you do. It's easier to go to work, more comfortable with everything. It's just, it's incredible. It's been
Plus, you're
fun.
stronger, so I'm sure, like when you're being your guide, you're doing your guide work and stuff like that. Like you feel like you can like contribute more, and stuff like that. I'm sure that makes it a lot.
I think my customers get more out of me.
Yeah.
This way, I'm a little more of a go-getter in the boat now, where it was easier, just kind of sit on your rear and wait.
Can you
wait
grab
for the
that?
fish.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, let's go try another spot. And I like to keep things boogieing, and I'm kind of a high energy guy anyway, and always have been, so it's given me more energy to just keep things rocking.
It is kind of one of those things too, because it does happen over time. Nobody loses 75 pounds overnight, and you don't gain 75 pounds overnight either.
Right.
So I think a lot of times you kind of forget how, you kind of just day by day in little tiny increments, like let go of some of that stuff, and you kind of forget about it until you have those moments sometimes where you're just like, I mean, probably for you too, because you started this in December, and then, in April, you're back doing, your guides. You'd probably done a good chunk of your like work during that time. So that was probably like a readjustment, like, wow, this is, I really was kind of missing out on a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just made everything so much easier. If somebody is out there on the fence about getting started,
and you started with 15 minutes on the elliptical, right? You didn't,
or less,
right? Yes.
Don't be afraid of the hard work. It's going to pay off.
Mhm.
It's definitely going to pay off.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do a ton right off the bat. It's gonna start slow,
Yes.
work your way into it, find those little victories, because you've been an athlete before, so it would be really easy for you to jump in and just do too much too soon and then
Yes.
get hurt and then not know, just like, well, I guess I'm just too old now. I can't do this anymore.
And I had done that once before.
Yeah.
I have a little extra time in the winter since I do have
Mhm.
a summer type job. So that was a little bit to my benefit of doing some
Getting
of this.
started at that
but
time.
you know what? I still was up at 4:15 in the morning, and I was waiting at that gym for them doors to open at 5.
Mhm.
And I've got everything done. And I've heard you guys talk about this too. I've got everything done in the workout world before the day needs to start for anybody.
Yeah.
So, everybody loves to sleep. And we got friends that are like, oh man, they're not up at 11 o'clock on the weekends. We're at the lake and we've got things going already.
Right.
And I know you like to sleep. Just go to bed a little earlier.
That's
It's
what
not
I
that
say.
big a deal.
If I'm trying to sleep in, to me, sleeping in is just going to bed earlier the night before. That's how we get extra sleep. Like it's not really, and I'm sure you've noticed that it doesn't. That also doesn't happen overnight. You probably were dragging yourself out of bed for those first, 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of just like, oh my gosh, before it became something that was a habit. Now you're probably up without an alarm.
Don't even need an alarm.
Yeah. You're just up and you get it going. I know for me, I talk about this, like it's how I wake up. Like I'm kind of in a fog until I get some type of physical movement in for the day. And sometimes I don't teach class until 9:15 or 12:15 and I complain to Jeff because he writes the schedule, but I'm still going out and doing something. I'm walking or I'm going for a run or I'm doing, because that's how I have to start my day. It's just really hard for me. So, but that took a long time to get there. You don't just because you bought the membership for the Y didn't mean
Doesn't
that
mean it's gonna work.
right.
That's
that your
correct.
life was magically changed
Yep.
that day.
Yep.
You
Yep.
still had to show up.
There are thousands and thousands and millions of people with gym memberships
Yes.
that don't use them, and just it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have people that have Farrell's memberships that we don't see or on a
Mhm.
consistent basis, and and there's times where we get inconsistent.
No, I don't. I work out every day. You get
Well,
inconsistent.
maybe inconsistent on our nutrition.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's put it
Well,
that
one
way.
of the reasons I started before or when I did in December was I didn't want to be that guy that started the New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Waiting till
Those
January.
they're like set up to fail.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I jumped into it in December. I didn't want to wait. Don't put off what you can start now.
That's
Just
true.
Get going on it. There's no better time than now.
Yep.
If you plan on it, it's not going to work out most of
Well,
the time.
and jumping in at the Y in December is smart because you can stake your claim on the elliptical
This is
before
true.
January.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you waltz in there and be like, hey, this is my elliptical.
You know which
machine.
one you want. You're there when
Yeah.
the door opens.
I've
You
been here.
beeline right
Yeah.
to it.
Yep. And one day, if you're just a few minutes late, nobody gets on it because they
Right.
know,
Yes.
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 it's somebody else's. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you're
That's
already in the
true.
routine before you get the mad rush of the New Year's resolutioners.
That's right. And
And you can
those people are
inspire
there.
them.
Yes,
You can inspire
yes.
those people by being the gym that's there, by being that person that's always
Yes.
there.
Yep.
So that is true. Have you inspired other people? Like, is your wife still continuing on her
Yeah.
kind of fitness?
My wife is one of these very lucky people that she can eat what she wants.
Right.
And she is just fine.
I could do that. I did that. That was me for one day in 4th grade. I had one day, I think, in 4th grade, and I missed it. And then I can't just eat whatever. I've never been able to do that.
No, my wife's just so fortunate in that department.
Yeah.
She still is going to the gym.
Good. Yeah.
Um,
Because you still need it for the health. Like exercise and eating right is not just for how you look. It's
Yeah.
about how you feel and how your body performs and stuff. So yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
my wife has had some arthritis and stuff like that in her family, and she's had a little of it herself. So, she's trying to do things to counteract those little setbacks in life. And,
Yep.
and yeah, I think it's helping her. You know,
Mhm.
we don't talk about the gym stuff a ton.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year where I'm not around. So,
Right.
But yeah, she's she was a go-getter with it too, and she enjoys it.
That's good.
She's not competitive one bit. So
either.
it's not like she wants to come and brag about what she did at the gym.
Or gonna go
when she
compete
gets
against
home.
each other when you work out.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
gonna happen. And that's okay. You know, she's enjoying it, and it's helping her as well. So
Yep, just staying active is
Yeah.
really important for sure. And then talking about your daughter, like, so what are you thinking on the horizons for sports for her, just on an unrelated note?
it's hard to say.
I know. Yeah.
You know, I can see that she's got some endurance.
Mhm.
That's for darn sure. So we'll see how this running thing goes. I guess as a parent, I don't want to push her.
It's hard to know. Yeah. Mhm.
I grew up in a sport that was a year-round sport, and I know that's so many people are doing that now, but is it necessary they
It's a
got to
lot.
do that year-round from the time they can walk?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so we're just gonna wait and see. If she wants to do it, we're gonna
Well,
let
and
her
you
do
guys
it.
are super active too. So she doesn't have to necessarily be in organized sports to stay active.
Yeah,
She's running, you guys bike, you do, you know, she can do all that stuff with you too. But
Just exposing her to this run tomorrow,
Yeah.
and going to these little fun runs, I think too will just be.
we'll see how you'll
that's
see
right.
how competitive she is
Oh, she's got it. She's got it.
with all those other
Yeah.
kids.
Oh, this morning we did our one little run, and I told her, I said, as soon as we come around this last corner, you're gonna be able to see where we need to finish.
Mhm.
And I said, we're gonna run as hard as we can to there. She was cooking.
Yeah.
So I think my watch said she was at a 7:30 pace.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
pretty good for a 6-year-old. I think.
Well,
Absolutely.
that kind of
Well, think about their little legs.
that
too.
blows
yeah,
my
right?
that's what I was gonna say. That blows my short leg
Yes,
excuse
we don't
out of
wanna
the
hear it
water
anymore.
completely.
Yes, 'cause she has to take probably 2 steps to your
To
step.
my
But you're always like, gosh, I got to take 2 steps to your step, Jeff.
I know. Well, there goes that excuse now. I'm
that.
just gonna have to work harder to get faster, I guess.
Yes. All right. Well, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Husker football coming up with Ben Garber. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket, Fitness Fanatics.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Old School with DP and J.
As long as it's taken for him to build up that program to be pretty successful by their standards and look, pretty successful by Big Ten West standards, you have to take that into accountability. You can't be an impulsive, in-the-moment type of decision maker, because how you handle Pat Fitzgerald could stymie you from hiring, because those coaches talk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different.
You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in here. Final segment of our show. If you missed any parts of the show, you can check us out on our podcast platforms or on theticketfm.com. Again, this is recorded on Saturday. We'll be back with you live on the 23rd. We have a pretty awesome mountain
You say
climber.
this every time. We have a pretty awesome.
There are awesome.
I know, it's funny. You say it every time.
If you're going to
It
come
is
on
not
this
wrong.
show,
Yeah,
you're awesome.
I know. It's just funny.
Because that means you're doing well at life because you're fit and you're
Okay.
healthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, it's just funny. You say that like literally every
well,
week.
that's because I mean it.
I know.
Every time. All right. So we're going to talk a little Husker football. We are now, according to our countdown on our fridge,
The whiteboard.
47 days away till kickoff in Minneapolis. So, Ben, what do you think of our new coach, outlook on the season? This is your 5-minute radio interview for DP and the Ticket, and let's hear your expert opinion.
I am very excited. I think Coach Rule is saying all the right things, doing all the right things. The outlook is good.
Good.
I'm a little nervous on our quarterback situation as far as depth goes, but
that does get us sometimes.
You know, I think the offensive line, as much as we've scowled at it, has a lot of experience. I think that's going to bring us out on top against Minnesota. They've lost some of their lines, right? So I think we're going to come out on top that first game, and it's going to send us screaming through the season. I think we win eight games.
There's that battered dog syndrome that we talk about.
Right.
Battered dog syndrome. Well,
yeah.
Yep, there it is.
I do
You
think
started off real strong.
Oh, pumped. We might win. 8 games.
It's all right. We want to believe it. We want to believe it. Rico, are you pessimistic? Look at your face.
Well, he talks about this
You
every
can't
day.
see his face,
I don't know
but-
what you're talking about. I think I was asked this the other day about something, and I was like, I'm not going to say anything until I get a depth
You'll
chart.
believe it when you see it.
Well, even then, I'm just like, I see a depth chart. I don't know what my win total will be. We'll probably work on those about a week out, and we'll throw them up on the board or something like that.
Well, mine was like 10-2 last year.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting at 4-8 or whatever last year, and then we went to a thing with the coaches and the
Oh,
players,
yeah.
and I had a really good steak.
Out at Tanner's,
Yeah, I
right?
had a really
Yep.
good steak, and I was like, you know what? This steak moves me up to 8 wins, and I should have stuck with me and Mark were the only ones under 500.
Mark was, yes,
and we would have been right, but it wouldn't have got us anything.
Oh,
We'd
and
have
I
just been
was
like, see, told you.
I didn't even want him on the show anymore. I'm
Yeah,
just like, you
yeah.
can't even be on here if you're going to put 4 wins out
Yeah,
there.
we were just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't seem very strong. So I don't know. We'll see.
all
When
speculation.
I'm a week out, I'll have a number for you, and we'll see if I'm right.
No, it's exciting. I know Sipple always used to said, like, back in the 90s when he'd walk over to the stadium, he just knew it was going to be a win. He's like, how exciting is that? That's not exciting.
Okay.
Like, now it's exciting because you're like, you have no idea what's going to happen when the ball's kicked off, you know?
Literally.
But everything that's happened in the past 5 years, it's all in the past. We have no idea how new coaching staff is going to react. We just don't know, so that's kind of exciting. You know, I mean, if it was, yeah, we don't even want to talk about that. So
There
Ben,
wasn't change on the horizon.
your daughter, who is 6, has never seen Nebraska play in a bowl game.
This is true.
So
yeah.
this could be
Yeah.
the year that we break it and she can watch. My son's 16, didn't really start liking football until about 5 years ago. So he's never even seen Nebraska with a winning record. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
but it's all going to change, right? Because we're optimistic and we're happy in July.
Yes, that it has to happen.
You're happy in July every year for football.
Well, my whole thought is like, if I'm happy now or I'm pessimistic, if they lose the first game, I'm going to be pissed anyway.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Just don't have any expectations.
Yes.
You can't be let down.
No expectations.
We have to have some. Like, if we didn't have,
You can't listen to the ticket.
I mean, this is all
and not
it
have
is.
some type of expectation.
We're breaking.
Listen to my show.
Our listeners are the most informed about the finger on the pulse of what's happening. You gotta be excited.
Ticket listeners know more about that 4-string tight end than any school in the country.
If you don't expect greatness, you will never be let down.
And it's sad that, you know, because now
That's
you
good
you
marriage
don't-
advice also.
What's that? Yeah. So Nicole doesn't expect greatness out of me, so she's never let
25 years.
That's
No.
25 years of marriage.
You
Rico.
surprise her every day
Yes.
with your average Jeffness.
Yes. Yes. It's a good thing I set the bar low.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's
Early.
all. That's all that the past of the past couple years of Nebraska football has done. Just set the bar low.
Yeah.
So when you go 6-6, people are like, "Oh, that's
Hey,
fantastic."
we would be very happy for 6-6.
That's what the last 8 years has done.
Exactly.
Good start.
Lowered
It's
the
just-
bar. So now when we get to
the bar's been too high for too long. So now
Yeah.
we're playing. Now we're
it is.
limboing.
You don't remember these days. Like
I don't.
Like
I
Ben
was-
and I remember.
I was born in '93, so
yeah, you just
like
So close.
one of my earliest memories is 2001, which even then not really a great memory because it was in the national championship game. It's like oof.
Yeah.
now. If you told kids nowadays the national, we were in the Nebraska was in the national championship game. Like my son
It's a
and
fable.
daughter just they think it's it's out of the Bible. Like they can't even. It's like
The Stone
you're
Age.
kidding
Right.
me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Stone Age. Like I tell Ben, like before there was Bama, there was Nebraska. Bama wants to be what Nebraska was, right? They never run the table. Go undefeated for once in your life, and then you come talk to us, right? Bama fans.
I think they've been undefeated
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, well,
for
come
the
on.
national championship.
Let's go.
Losers.
Yeah, come on. They want to, you know, let's go back to back undefeated, and then we'll talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even Georgia didn't do that. They had a loss. So,
All
right. Well, that music means this is wrapping up the show.
Yes.
So, Ben, thank you very much for taking your time out to come in on a Saturday to record this with you, with us.
Mhm.
We appreciate. Hopefully, Ben's story has inspired you. Just get moving. One day at a time, one meal at a time. We'll be back with you on the 23rd, live in studio, 9 o'clock. So have a good week. Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend